The human maintenance officer had been awake for almost 20 hours when his shift began. The Galactic Harmony Station never truly slept. Its long silver halls glowed with soft light, and voices from 100 different worlds echoed through the air in languages he could not understand. He had learned to recognize the feeling of the place instead. It felt like standing inside a living city that floated between stars. His name was not important to most of the station. To them, he was just the human. He wore a simple gray uniform with a small Earth symbol on the shoulder. His job was to fix things that broke, clean systems that failed, and make sure life support panels stayed green instead of flashing red. It was not a heroic job, but it was an honest one. That morning, he carried a cup of human coffee in one hand and a toolkit in the other. The smell of the coffee drifted behind him like a quiet warning. Some aliens hated it. Some loved it. Most had no idea what it was, only that it was strong, bitter, and very human. He took a slow sip and felt the warmth push back the heavy fog in his head. He told himself to focus. Today was important. A royal delegation from the star system of Lurien had arrived. Their princess was on the station, meeting with the Galactic Council. That meant extra guards, extra rules, and zero room for mistakes. He turned a corner in the main hall, reading a message on his wrist screen about a faulty power panel on level 5. He did not see the tall, glowing figures walking toward him. He did not hear the soft hum of their ceremonial clothing. The moment happened too fast to stop. He bumped into someone, the coffee cup tilted. Dark liquid splashed across a smooth, shining garment that looked like woven light. The hall went silent. The human froze, his heart dropping into his stomach. He looked up and saw her. The alien princess of Lurien stood in front of him, taller than any human, with skin that shimmered like soft blue glass under the station lights. Her eyes were wide and bright, and her long, flowing garment pulsed with faint patterns that shifted like living stars. For a second, neither of them spoke. Then the garment made a sharp, mechanical sound. The glowing patterns flickered and turned dull. The fabric stiffened, pulling tight around her arms and chest. Her expression changed from surprise to alarm. "Take my clothes off immediately," she said, her voice clear and sharp, echoing down the hall. The human nearly dropped his toolkit. Guards moved in at once. Tall, armored figures from 3 different species surrounded them, weapons raised but not aimed. Their eyes focused on the human like he was a sudden and dangerous problem. The human lifted both hands, the empty coffee cup falling to the floor with a soft clatter.
"I'm sorry," he said quickly.
"I didn't mean to. I wasn't looking." "I can fix it, I think. I mean, I'll try." The princess looked down at her stiffening garment. The fabric continued to lock in place, the light fading even more. "This suit is not only clothing," she said, her voice tight. "It helps regulate my body in foreign environments. Your liquid is interfering with its system." The human swallowed. He forced himself to breathe. "Okay," he said. "Okay, let's slow down. I don't need to take it off. Not like that. I just need to stop whatever reaction is happening." The guards hesitated. One of them spoke in a low, rumbling voice. "You will not touch the princess." The human nodded.
"I understand. Just let me talk."
"I work on systems like this all the time. Not this exact one, but systems, machines, panels, fabric with tech inside. It all follows rules." The princess studied him. Her eyes were sharp, but there was no anger in them, only urgency. "Explain," she said. He took a step back to give her space. "The coffee is mostly water, but it also has acids and oils. If your suit reacts to foreign chemicals, it might be locking itself as a safety measure, like a door that closes when it senses danger. The princess looked down at her garment again. That is correct. It is designed to seal when it detects harmful substances. Then we don't need to remove it, the human said. We need to neutralize what's on the surface. The guards looked at each other. One of them lowered his weapon slightly. The princess raised one hand. Let him continue. The human felt a small wave of relief. He tapped his wrist screen and pulled up a simple tool from his kit. It was a handheld spray, usually used to clean power connectors.
It's just a basic neutral solution, he said. Harmless.
If it works on metal and plastic, it might work on your suit's outer layer. The guards tensed again, but the princess nodded once. Do it, she said. He stepped forward carefully, moving slowly so no one thought he was a threat. He sprayed a light mist over the dark stain left by the coffee. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the garment gave a soft hum. The dull patterns flickered and slowly began to glow again. The fabric loosened, returning to its flowing shape. The princess let out a long breath. The hall filled with quiet whispers from onlookers who had stopped to watch. The human lowered the spray and smiled, nervous but relieved. Looks like it worked. The guard stepped back. The tension in the air eased, but the human could still feel eyes on him from every direction. The princess straightened. Her garment now shone brighter than before, the pattern shifting gently like a calm night sky. You solved this with a simple tool, she said. Our scientists would have called for a full system scan. He shrugged. Sometimes you don't need big solutions, just small ones that fit the problem. She studied him in silence. You are human, she said. Your people are new to this council. Many believe you are unprepared for galactic life. He rubbed the back of his neck. I just fixed broken stuff. Yet you did not panic, she said. You did not run. You did not blame. You stayed and helped. He did not know what to say to that. A tall alien in a long robe approached. This one carried a symbol of the Galactic Council on their chest. Princess of Lurian, they said. Are you unharmed? I am well, she replied. Thanks to the human. The council member turned to him. Your actions will be noted. The human felt his face heat up. I didn't do anything special, the princess tilted her head. Perhaps not to you. But to us it is. She stepped closer, not in a threatening way, but with curiosity. What is your name, human? He hesitated. Humans had learned that names carried weight in the galaxy. Call me what you want, he said. Most just call me the human. She considered that. Then I will call you the one who helps. He smiled, small and unsure. A message buzzed on his wrist screen. The faulty power panel still waited on level 5.
I should go, he said. Things still break, even during royal visits.
The princess nodded.
You may go, but know this.
Today, many watched you. They saw how a human acts under pressure. He picked up his toolkit and gave a small, respectful bow, something he had learned from watching other species. As he walked away, he felt the station differently. The halls seemed less cold. The lights seemed warmer. Behind him, the princess watched him disappear into the crowd. Interesting, she said softly. Later that day, in a quiet corner of the station, the human opened a new cup of coffee. This time, he made sure no one was nearby. He leaned against a wall and looked out through a wide window at the endless stars beyond. He did not know that a simple accident had just changed how the galaxy would see his people. He only knew that tomorrow something else would break, and he would be there to fix it. And far above, in the council chambers, whispers had already begun. Humans, some said, are not strong because of their ships or their weapons. They are strong, others replied, because they stand up when it matters most. The story of the spilled coffee had become something more. It had become the first small step in a much larger journey among the stars. The next cycle on Galactic Harmony Station began with quiet energy while soft lights brightened the halls, and the sound of distant engines hummed through the metal floors like a steady heartbeat. The human woke up in his small sleeping pod with a strange feeling in his chest. He could not explain it, but he knew the day would not be normal. He sat up, stretched his tired arms, and checked his wrist screen. Messages filled the display. Most were simple work requests. A cooling vent needed cleaning. A door sensor was not responding. A water pipe was leaking on level 9. Then he saw a different kind of message. Council request. Human maintenance officer. Report to observation wing. He blinked. The council never called him directly. He took a quick shower, pulled on his gray uniform, and grabbed his toolkit. As he walked through the station, he noticed something new. Aliens he passed slowed down. Some turned their heads to watch him. A few whispered in low voices. The story had spread. When he reached the observation wing, 2 guards stood at the entrance. They were the same ones from the day before. This time, they did not raise their weapons. They nodded and stepped aside. Inside, the room was wide and filled with glass walls that showed space in every direction. Stars shone like distant fires in the dark. In the center of the room stood the alien princess of Lurian, along with several scientists and council members. She turned when she saw him.
"You came quickly," she said. "I wasn't busy yet," he replied.
"What's wrong?"
One of the scientists stepped forward. Their skin was pale and their eyes moved in quick, nervous patterns. "We are studying your coffee," the scientist said. "The liquid that caused the reaction in the princess's suit. It behaves in ways we did not expect." The human raised an eyebrow. "It's just coffee. To us it is unusual," the scientist said. "Its chemical structure is simple, yet it creates complex effects on some of our technology." The princess crossed her arms. "They believe this is a sign of human danger." The human sighed. "Figures." She studied his face. "Are humans dangerous?" He thought for a moment.
We can be, but we try not to be.
"Most of the time, we're just trying to get through the day." She seemed to like that answer. The council member from before spoke again. "We have received a formal challenge from the Viewership Union. They claim humans are unpredictable and should not be trusted in shared space." The human felt a tight feeling in his stomach.
What does that mean? It means, the princess said, they want proof. The scientist pointed to a large display. It showed a map of the station and a flashing red section near the outer ring.
"There is a failing energy relay," the scientist said. "It powers several life support zones. Our systems cannot reach it safely due to unstable radiation from a nearby star." The human leaned closer to the screen. "So what do you want from me?" The princess met his eyes. "We want you to go." He stared at her. "You want a maintenance guy to walk into a radiation zone?" "We want a human," she said. "The Virex believe humans act without thinking. We want to show them humans act with courage." He let out a slow breath. "I don't have special gear." "You will have protection," she said, "but the area is still dangerous." He looked at the map again. He thought about his small sleeping pod, his coffee cup by the window. the quiet life he lived on the station. Then he nodded. "I'll go," he said. Preparation took an hour. The scientists fitted him with a light protective suit. It was not heavy armor. It was simple, flexible, and covered in thin panels that glowed faintly. "This will not stop all radiation," the scientist warned. "It will only reduce it." "Story of my life," the human muttered. The princess walked with him to the airlock that led to the outer ring. The walls here were thicker, the lights dimmer. "You do not have to do this," she said. He smiled. "Yeah, I do."
That's kind of the point. She paused.
"If you succeed, you will change how many see your people." He looked at the door ahead. "If I don't, they'll still see us the same way. So either way, it's worth trying." The airlock opened with a soft hiss. The human stepped inside. The door closed behind him. The world became quiet. When the outer door opened, he felt it at once. A low, invisible pressure pressed against his suit. The light from the nearby star cast strange shadows across the metal walkway. He walked slowly, checking his wrist screen. The radiation meter climbed but stayed in the safe zone. The relay station stood ahead, a tall tower of metal and cables. Sparks jumped from its sides, and the air around it shimmered. He reached the base and opened a panel. Inside, wires glowed and pulsed like veins. "Okay," he said softly. "Let's see what's wrong with you." He worked carefully. He remembered what he had learned on Earth. Machines, no matter where they were built, followed the same basic rules. Power went in, power came out. Something in between had to keep it balanced. He found the problem. A cracked connector. Small, easy to miss. Big enough to cause a chain reaction. He pulled out a spare part from his kit and replaced it. The relay hummed. The sparks stopped. The human smiled inside his helmet. Then the radiation meter spiked. "Of course," he said. He closed the panel and turned back. The light felt harsher now. His suit grew warm. "Come on," he whispered to himself. Just a little farther. Each step felt heavier than the last. His breath came faster. In the observation wing, the princess and the others watched the live feed. The image shook as the human stumbled. "His levels are rising," the scientist said. "He must return now." The princess leaned forward, her hands tight at her sides. The human reached the airlock and slammed his hand against the control panel. The door opened. He fell inside. The inner door closed. The airlock filled with normal air. He lay on the floor, breathing hard. A moment later, the door opened and the princess rushed in, followed by guards and scientists. He looked up at her and managed a weak smile. Relays fixed. The station lights brightened. Systems across the map turned green. The scientist checked the human suit and then his vitals. "He will recover," they said. The princess knelt beside him. "You did not have to risk yourself." He closed his eyes for a moment. Someone did. The council member spoke into a communicator. "The Viewership Union has been informed." The human solved the problem. The princess stood, and he did it not for praise, but because lives depended on it. Later, when the human rested in the medical wing, messages came in from across the station. Aliens he had never met sent simple words. "Thank you. We saw what you did." Humans are brave. The human stared at the screen, unsure how to feel. The princess visited him before the cycle ended. She stood by his bed, her garment glowing softly. "You have changed more than a relay today," she said. He smiled tiredly. "I just fixed what was broken." She shook her head. Sometimes that is how the galaxy changes, one small fix at a time. Outside the window, the stars continued to burn in the dark, and across the station, the idea of humanity began to shift, not as a risk, not as a threat, but as something steady and strong, standing where others could not. The human did not wake up to alarms or flashing lights this time. He woke up to quiet. The medical wing was calm, filled with soft sounds of machines breathing for others who needed rest. A pale light came through the wide window above his bed, showing stars slowly drifting past. He sat up and rubbed his eyes. His body felt heavy, but steady. The radiation suit lay folded on a chair nearby, still marked with dark stains and small burns. A message blinked on his wrist screen. Cleared for duty. Light work only. He smiled. That sounded fair. He swung his legs off the bed and stood carefully. The room did not spin. That was a good sign. He pulled on his gray uniform and clipped his toolkit to his belt. It felt normal, familiar, safe. As he stepped into the hall, he noticed something different right away. Aliens stopped and looked at him. Some nodded. Some placed a hand over their chest, a sign of respect among several species. A tall being with glowing eyes gave him a small wave. The human slowed his walk. This was new. He passed a group of young aliens who whispered excitedly. He caught a few words through the translator on his wrist. That's him. The human who went into the light zone. He fixed the relay. He looked down at his boots and kept walking. He did not feel like a hero. He felt like someone who had done their job and lived to talk about it. His first task of the day was simple. A water system on level 3 was not working right. He took a small transport lift and stepped out into a busy corridor filled with traders, travelers, and workers from many worlds. He knelt by a panel and opened it. Pipes and wires greeted him like old friends. "Let's see what's bothering you," he said softly. As he worked, a shadow fell over him. He looked up and saw the alien princess. Her garment glowed with calm blue light, and 2 guards stood a respectful distance behind her. "You follow me," he said, standing up quickly. "Or is this another emergency?" She tilted her head. "No emergency. Only curiosity." He wiped his hands on a cloth. "About what?" "About you," she said. He laughed once. "That's a short story, perhaps," she replied, "but I believe it is becoming a longer one." She looked at the open panel. "You prefer working with machines to speaking with people." He thought for a moment. "Machines are honest. If something's wrong, they show you. People sometimes hide it." She nodded slowly. "On my world, we are taught that leaders must hide weakness." He closed a panel and stood. "On my world, we're taught that it's okay to admit when you don't know something. Then you can learn." She considered that. They began walking down the hall together. The guards followed, but at a distance. "Tomorrow," she said, "the Galactic Council will meet again. The Virax Union will present a formal argument against human presence." He stopped walking. "So this isn't over?"
"No," she said. "They believe your actions were reckless."
"They say you endangered the station to make a point." He frowned. "I fixed a broken relay. They see a challenge to their authority," she said. He sighed. "Of course they do." They reached a wide window that looked out into space. A massive ship passed slowly by, its engines glowing like quiet suns. "The Virax Union controls many systems," she continued. "If they turn others against humanity, it will make your people's future here difficult." He leaned against the wall. "What do you want me to do?"
"I'm not a speaker,"
I don't make speeches.
She looked at him. You do not need to speak.
You need to be seen. Later that day, a strange request came through his wrist screen. Council observation duty. Human maintenance officer required. He stared at the message. Great, he muttered. I'm on display now. He arrived at the council chamber an hour later. The room was massive, shaped like a wide circle with floating platforms for each species. Light from a distant star shone through a clear ceiling. The princess stood on her platform, calm and steady. Across from her, the Viewership delegation waited. The Byrex were tall, sharp-edged beings, their armor shaped like broken stone. Their leader's voice was cold and clear. We acknowledge the humans' bravery, the Vyrex leader said. But bravery without wisdom is danger. Humans act on instinct, not strategy. Such a species cannot be trusted in shared space. Murmurs spread across the chamber. The human stood on a small platform near the center, hands at his sides. He felt very small. The princess spoke. You say humans act on instinct. I say they act on care. The Vyrex leader turned toward the human. Then let him prove it again. A new display appeared in the air. It showed a distant outpost on the edge of the council's reach. This station has gone silent, the Vyrex leader said. Its systems are failing. The environment is unstable. No automated ship can dock safely. The human felt a familiar tightness in his chest. You want me to go? He said quietly. We want a human to go, the Vyrex leader replied. If you succeed, we will withdraw our challenge. If you fail, it will prove our point. The chamber went silent. The princess looked at the human, her eyes searching his face.
You do not have to accept this, she said. He took a deep breath.
How many people are on that station? He asked. The Vyrex leader paused. 52? He nodded. Then I'm going. The human sat alone in a small transport ship, watching stars stretch into lines as the ship moved faster than light. He thought about Earth, about rain, about the smell of coffee in the morning, about how simple his life had been before he came to the stars. The ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the outpost. The station looked dark. Only a few lights blinked weakly. He guided the ship closer and docked manually. The moment he stepped inside, cold air rushed over him. The systems were barely running. Okay, he whispered. Let's bring you back. He moved through the halls, checking panels, restarting systems, sealing leaks. He worked without stopping, guided by instinct and training. He found the main problem in the core. A power loop was feeding into itself, draining the station's energy. He shut it down and rerouted the flow. Lights came on across the outpost. Voices filled the halls as the crew realized they were safe. The human leaned against a wall and let out a long breath. Back at the council chamber, the live feed showed the station glowing again. The room erupted in sound. The Vyrex leader stood still, then lowered their head. The human has proven more than bravery, they said. He has proven responsibility. The Vyrex Union withdraws its challenge. The princess closed her eyes for a moment, relief clear on her face. When the human returned to Galactic Harmony Station, he was not met by guards. He was met by people. Aliens of many kinds filled the hall. They did not cheer loudly. They did something quieter. They stood aside and made a path for him. The princess waited at the end of it. You went far for strangers, she said. He shrugged. Strangers don't stay strangers if you help them. She smiled. A real smile, warm and bright. That night, the human returned to his window and his coffee. He looked out at the stars again, but this time they felt closer. The galaxy no longer felt like a place he was visiting. It felt like a place he belonged. The station felt different now. The human noticed it the moment he stepped out of his sleeping pod. The lights in the hall were the same soft silver. The air still carried the mix of strange scents from 100 worlds, and the low hum of the station's engines still filled the background. Yet something had changed. It was not in the walls or the floors. It was in the way people looked at him. Aliens who once passed without a second glance now slowed their steps. Some nodded. Some placed a hand over their chest. A few even spoke his name through their translators, their voices careful, like they were testing a new word. He did not feel like a hero. He felt tired. He walked to the window at the end of the hall and looked out into space. Stars burned quietly in the dark, endless and calm. He held a warm cup of coffee in both hands and let the heat sink into his palms. He thought about how all of this had started with a simple mistake. A spill. Footsteps approached behind him. He did not turn right away, but he knew who it was. The alien princess of Lurien stopped beside him. Her garment glowed softly, like a calm sky just before night. She did not speak at first. She stood and looked at the stars with him. "You should rest," she said finally. "I will," he replied. "In a minute." They stood in silence for a while, the kind of silence that did not feel heavy. "The council will meet again today," she said. "Not to judge humans this time, to invite them." He raised an eyebrow. "Invite them to what?" "To help lead," she said. He nearly laughed. "You want my people to lead the galaxy?" "I want your people to help guide it," she corrected. "There is a difference." He took a slow sip of his coffee. "We're not perfect." She tilted her head. "Neither is the galaxy." Later that day, the council chamber filled once more. Platforms floated in a wide circle, each holding representatives from distant stars. Light from a far sun poured in through the clear ceiling, painting everything in soft gold. The human stood beside the princess this time, not in the center, not alone. The council leader spoke. "We have seen what humans do when faced with danger. We have seen how they act when others step back." A display appeared in the air, showing moments from the relay repair, the outpost rescue, and even the first accident in the hall. "We propose a new role," the leader continued. "Humans will serve as bridge builders, problem solvers, diplomats in places where trust has failed." The human shifted his weight. This was not what he signed up for when he left Earth. He wanted to fix machines, not politics. The princess leaned toward him and spoke quietly. "You will not be alone." The Virix leader stepped forward.
We once saw humans as a risk, they said. Now we see them as a balance.
The human took a breath and spoke before he could stop himself. "We're just people," he said. "We make mistakes. We get tired, we spill coffee." A soft ripple of sound moved through the chamber. Some kind of laughter. "But we try," he continued. "We try to help, even when we're scared, even when we don't know what will happen." The council leader nodded. "That is why we ask you." The decision was made. Humanity was no longer just a guest among the stars. They were a partner. The days that followed were busy in a way the human had never known. He still fixed broken doors and leaky pipes, but now he also sat in rooms with leaders from distant worlds. He explained simple human ideas in simple words. Talk first, listen more, fix the small problems before they become big ones. Some aliens found these ideas strange. Others found them powerful. The princess stayed close during these meetings. Not as a guard or a ruler, but as a guide. When talks grew tense, she would remind them of the outpost, of the relay, of the small human who walked into danger without asking who would thank him. One evening, after a long day, the human returned to his window again. The stars were brighter tonight. Or maybe he just noticed them more. The princess joined him. "My people believe in signs," she said. "They believe the universe sends small moments to shape great paths." He smiled. "On my world, we call that luck." She looked at him. "Do you believe in it?" He thought for a moment. "I believe in choices. You choose what you do when something goes wrong. That's what matters." She nodded slowly. "Then your people have made a powerful choice." A message buzzed on his wrist screen. A request from a distant station. Two species arguing over a shared water system. Tension rising. He showed it to her. She smiled. "Looks like the galaxy needs another small fix." He finished his coffee and set the cup down. "Guess I better get my toolkit," he said. The journey to the distant station took a day. When he arrived, the air felt thick with anger. Two groups stood on opposite sides of a wide hall, voices raised, gestures sharp. The human walked into the space between them. "Hey," he said. Both sides turned, surprised. "What's the problem?" he asked. They stared at him. "It's our water system," one said. "They take more than their share," the other side answered. "Their machines waste what they use." The human knelt by a nearby panel and opened it. "Let's take a look," he said. He worked while they watched. He found a simple flaw in the system, a misaligned valve that caused pressure loss. He fixed it. Water flowed evenly again. The two sides looked at each other, then back at him. "That's it?" one asked. "That's it," he said. "Sometimes the problem isn't who's wrong. It's what's broken." Word of the moment spread, just like the others had. The human returned to Galactic Harmony Station with a tired smile. He found the princess waiting for him. "You keep proving our choice was right," she said. He shrugged. "I just keep fixing things." Time passed. More humans arrived on the station. Engineers, teachers, doctors, listeners. They did not come with grand speeches or great demands. They came with tools, open hands, and simple questions. How can we help? The galaxy slowly changed, not in loud, sudden ways, but in quiet ones. Fewer arguments turned into fights. More problems turned into conversations. One night, the human stood at his window for what felt like the 100th time. The princess stood beside him. "Do you miss your world?" she asked. He nodded. "Sometimes. Would you return if you could?" she asked. He looked at the stars, then at the station behind him, filled with voices from every corner of the galaxy. "I think," he said, "this is my world now, too." She smiled, and her garment glowed a little brighter. Far away on Earth, news spread of humanity's new place among the stars. People looked up at the night sky and felt something new. Not fear. Not distance, but connection. And in the heart of a great station between worlds, a human with a simple toolkit and a cup of coffee stood as a quiet symbol of what his people had become. Not conquerors, not rulers, but helpers. And that was how the galaxy learned the true strength of humanity.